Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Janelle and I love making college, teaching, just lifestyle vlogs. So if you're interested in that, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I'm going to be talking about my interview application process and my tips on how to get a PE teaching job. So let's just get started. Okay, so I'm the type of person to just randomly look at teaching jobs during my lunch break, during, I don't even know, like lesson planning, like as my break, I don't know, just randomly checking for teaching jobs. And I was doing this when I was student teaching. And I graduated in December of 2020. So during early October and throughout, well, early October and early November, I was looking for teaching jobs, either in elementary or PE teaching jobs. So I would look at jobs at least 2 to 3 times a week. So make sure you're always checking on the internet, on Indeed, on the school district website that you're planning on or wanting to apply for. So always check the websites at least 2 or 3 times a week, because you never know, they might have something that you're really interested in and apply for it. But anyways, I was looking for a teaching job where, one, staying where I live in Oregon. I didn't want to move to Salem, Portland, Corvallis, anywhere that I would have to drive. I just wanted to stay put in a city where I didn't have to move. So number one is looking for PE teaching jobs. I have my teaching license in elementary and PE, so I was just looking at jobs that's available in the city where I live. And I came across this PE teaching job, and it was nice because, again, it was located in the city where I live, and a lot of the PE teaching jobs that I was looking at was in Salem, was in Portland, and I was not gonna go move there. The specific PE job that I have now, I was eyeing on it for almost a week. So I would always check to see and make sure that the position is still there. So I checked almost every day, yeah, just to make sure the position is still there. And I haven't even applied for it yet. I just wanted to keep browsing and see if there's other PE or elementary teaching jobs where I live. But on the last day of when the applications were due, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna apply for this position. The worst thing that could happen is not getting the job. So I applied for the position 30 or 40 minutes before I had a student teach. I immediately texted my old mentor, my old PE mentor, and asked if I could, you know, use her as one of my references. And she said yes, thank goodness, she replied fast. And so yeah, I did my application, and a day later, I got an email. They were asking if I could send a cover letter answering 2 prompt questions and a resume. So I sent those 2 in, and then a week later, I got an email asking to set up a Zoom interview, because, you know, during this COVID pandemic times, a lot of interviews are through Zoom or Google Meet or whatever, but we use Zoom. So we set up a Zoom interview, and then for my Zoom interview, there were 4 people who interviewed me. So intimidating, but I felt kind of relaxed because it was through a screen, so I felt more comfortable. If it was in person, I would definitely be super nervous. I mean, I was still nervous, but not as much. Before I had my interview, I practiced my interview questions, and thankfully during the summer, I already prepped my interview questions. One is specifically for elementary, one is specifically for PE. So I prepped all that for the summer because I know I would have to do my interviews during the fall or spring. So glad I did that because I would be even more stressed out. But I already had like questions and answers on there, so I practiced my answers. And so if you have time, always prepare for your interview. Always. And practice your interview. Practice what you're gonna say and plan out what questions they might ask you. So definitely prepare. You wanna make yourself look good. You know, you wanna make sure that you know what you're talking about, and you wanna be confident and show that you really want the job. I don't remember all the interview questions, but I remember just a few. So one of the questions they did ask is, why do you want to work here? I think a lot of the questions, no matter what position that you're going for, they always ask, why do you want to work here? And then another question I got was, what's your philosophy in physical education. There were questions about classroom management in PE. That's all that I could remember, but I know it was like 2 pages. So there's 2 pages. Okay, so let's rewind. So usually what I've heard and what I've experienced, some interviews, they will provide you a list of questions that they're planning on asking you, and you have about like 10 minutes to scan through each of the question and think about and plan what you're gonna say for those specific questions. With my virtual experience doing the interview on Zoom, they shared their screen and they showed me the questions, what they were planning on asking me, which was really helpful because, again, not all interviews will be the same or will be similar to mine. But this was really helpful because I was able to see what questions they're gonna ask me next. So say that we're on question 1, I could see what questions they're about to ask me for question 2, 3, or 4 because it's shared on the screen. So I was able to remember what I practiced and plan out what I could, say for those specific questions, which was really helpful. But again, not all interviews will give you a list of questions. If you're lucky, you will get 10 minutes to look over if this was in person. And then at the end of each interview, they're going to ask if you have any questions. And I've had a lot of interviews. I've worked since I was 16, and I used to not have any questions. But now that I've had a lot of experience, it's really important that you do ask questions. So before I even interviewed, I researched the school. I went on the school website and tried to figure out some information and what they offer and all that stuff. But I asked about like 3 or 4 questions because asking questions gives them an idea that you did your research and you care enough to ask something. And asking questions makes you curious and interested in the position that you're trying to go for. So definitely prep questions and research before your interview. One of my questions that I asked was relating to curriculum, but I wanted to ask if there's like a PE curriculum that they follow. Another question that I asked was, what is a typical day like for a PE teacher at blank, whatever school that you're interviewing for? So I asked that. So what is the day like for a PE teacher at your school? I'm curious and I want to know what the schedule's like. Yeah, just asking questions, do your research. But yeah, that is my interview and application process. Some of my tips, hopefully these tips helped you in some way. And this doesn't even have to be PE teaching related. It could be any position that you're going for. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you guys next time.